Andrew, the tight end position's been strong
Hmm.
in the last 5 or 6 years with some big standouts. This past season, you had mentioned Blake Smith moving on. He was a pretty highly sought after recruit, only caught a couple passes. He goes to Oklahoma. Where do we stand at tight end?
I think they feel pretty good about this room as well. When you look at Donovan Green, played quite a bit as a freshman, caught a touchdown against Alabama. Uh, and I think he's kind of a guy that I think is going to lead that room. And then you've got the you know one of the former the number one tight end in the 2022 class, and Jake Johnson, who was banged up a little bit as a freshman, but brother of Max Johnson. And when you kind of watched him go through routes during the spring, he's such a fluid and smooth athlete. Great size, big guy. And then I think folks are kind of intrigued to see what Theodore Mellon Ostrom does. He was a guy that reclassified into this class, fairly new to the game of football, came from Sweden, and reclassified in. So now that he's had a year to kind of adjust to the college program, and then he might not put up the sexiest numbers, but I think Max Wright is also a guy that kind of brings that veteran presence to the room. A guy that's a good run blocker, can go out and catch passes and be a factor in the passing game as well. And so, you've kind of got a good blend of some veteran and some younger guys that they're really excited about. And then, Jaden Platt's another guy that was committed to Stanford and flipped to Texas A&M late in the 2023 cycle, and they love him as well. They're really excited about him. And then, he's been in the program for a couple of years and hasn't done a ton yet, but Fernando Garza is another name to just kind of keep in the rearview mirror, and keep in the back pocket, and see how he's developing as well.
Andrew, we talked about Bobby Petrino when we had you on the last time
Hmm.
and his impact as it's already started on the recruiting level. Then, of course, he's going to get to the X's and O's on the field with the guys here real soon and already has to a certain extent, I'm sure. What are your thoughts about Bobby Petrino in regards to what he brings to the offense and what we could see that could be different?
Yeah, I think he brings obviously a really great offensive mind, right? He's worked with a lot of explosive offenses. When you talk about Louisville and what he did there, and what he did at Arkansas as well, I think we're really going to have a better idea of that come the fall. And how the dynamic kind of works with the play calling duties. I think it is important though to just have him from the perspective that being a head coach now requires so much attention, and there's so many things going on, from recruiting to the transfer portal to NIL. And in all three phases of the game, it frees Jimbo Fisher up to at least be able to pay attention to all three aspects of the game. What it was a lot of obviously talk last year about how many play sheets he had and his binder that he carries on the sideline. And I think it frees him up to be able to manage all aspects of the game, and be a head coach. And I think when you're one of the things that's going to be interesting to see is one of his philosophies is feed the studs, and that's kind of been the message. So when you talk about Evan Stewart and Moose Muhammad, really interested to see how he's able to use them. I think he's going to look to get really creative, obviously with an Smith as well, and really look to put the focus on the stars, and try to get those guys the ball as much as possible, and utilize his playmakers in a variety of ways. But I think we're going to get a better idea of that during the spring and fall, when we can kind of see how this dynamic kind of works between him and Jimbo Fisher.
Andrew Hattersley, Gig'em 247 Sports, join the podcast as well. Andrew, we appreciate you stopping by. I know you've got a ton going on with basketball and recruiting, but good review on the offense, and would love to have you back, of course, to check out the defense.
Absolutely. We'll definitely dive into the defense soon.